I already gave my story of where I was on 9/11. I was in college. Do you remember where you were that day? And did you watch things on? I know you're a little younger than I am, but you weren't that young. You knew what was going on, right? You were what, 13?
No, I was 4 years old, Brian.
Oh, you were 4?
No, come on.
No, you were 13.
I believe I was a freshman.
You were in high school.
You
were like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I was walking. I had just walked from, it might have been geometry or some type of math class to English, and I sat down in my chair, and I saw it, and the TV was turned on, and my geometry professor walked into the room for what I think him and the English teacher were friends, and he goes, another bomb just happened at the World Trade Center.
World Trade Center was bomb.
Yeah, because he didn't know it was an airplane.
Right.
Yeah, but I think he said the World Trade Center was bombed again, or they hit the World Trade Center again, and we just sat there for 30 or 45 minutes.
Well,
and
did school end early for you?
And just watched. I think it did end a couple hours because it was like
my college campus was shut down.
Yeah, I think it did end early.
So
maybe a couple hours.
See, here's the thing though: when all that was going on, and nobody really knew what happened. But if you saw the video, I saw the video when the Trade Center collapsed, and then I saw the planes going into the World Trade. So we knew once that second plane hit, we all knew that it was intentional, right? When you see the first plane hit, nobody really knew what was going on. Obviously, people in the control towers, when they heard a couple other planes were taking over, people knew before the general public. But as soon as that second plane hit, that's where everyone in this country, I don't think I speak for myself, was extremely worried and concerned, and nobody knew what was going to happen. Then we heard rumors, right? The rumors, oh my God, there's a bomb here, there's planes there, the Empire State Building, they're going after the Empire State. Nobody knew what was going on.
No,
it was pandemonium, and we were all scared. Nobody knew what was going on. I remember I left my college campus, I drove to my girlfriend's house, and then I spoke with my family, and then we heard that my uncle, who I don't really talk to anymore, by the way, but he lives downtown in Manhattan, and he had eye abrasions. He lives 3 or 4 blocks from the World Trade Center. His apartment was ruined, and he had to go to the hospital just because of the stuff, the gook that was in his eyes. And I just remember those hours after, days, weeks.
Where was your uncle at when he got those eye abrasions?
He was about 4 blocks away. He was outside.
Oh, he was outside.
Yeah, he was a part of the cloud of smoke, even though he was 4 blocks away, very close.
Right, all that debris got.
So his story was he was outside when everything happened, and then he went into a store, and he waited in the store for about 30 to 45 minutes. But eventually, you had to get outside, and even 30 minutes after that cloud of smoke, you still felt it, and he had to go outside. So he got some eye abrasions, but I just remember. The audio and the stories of people that were on those planes that were saying goodbye to their loved ones. The last moments of those people that were alive in those buildings that, even though they really didn't know what was going on, a part of them probably did know that they weren't going to make it. The images that I'll remember that haunt me for the rest of my life are those people that had to jump from those buildings. What would you rather do? In that moment, I probably would have jumped. Would you rather burn to death? Or would you rather your life be over in a minute without really any pain? I'd rather jump. I can't imagine that choice that those people had to make. I remember an image of a man and a woman jumping from the building, holding hands. I remember the image of a cook flipped over, jumping from those buildings. The only good thing out of all that is that they died instantly when they hit the ground and they didn't have to suffer. But I can't even imagine the moments leading up to that decision that they had to make. People that were trapped in those buildings. You'd have to say that the people that maybe were a little luckier than others are the ones that died instantly. I remember a story, and it's kind of gruesome, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but I remember hearing a story of a family that 10 years later got the remains of their loved ones, and it was just their feet. And then the story that they got from the investigators is that most likely the person was standing up when the plane hit and their body was just wiped away, but they didn't feel any pain. Probably didn't even know what hit them, which I guess that gives the family some solace. Many of these families have yet to, and probably never will, get the remains of their family members. Some people maybe bones. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, I read something on Twitter where it said I was in class. And there was a classmate of mine that got a call down to the principal's office, and his dad was just above the impact point inside I believe Tower 1, And he basically just said his goodbyes. He knew he was going to die. He knew that he was stuck. He was trapped no matter where. Either he burnt to death or he had to jump off, the side of the building. But at least he was able to call his son and tell him how much he loved him and just say, hey, I'm never going to see you again, but I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of incidences like that.
Very, very emotional stuff, and there's so many stories like that out there that you'll never forget. And I've heard some of the audio from some of these phone calls. There were stories about it that news outlets did, and the families released some of that audio. Those people on the plane in Pennsylvania that said they were going to take over the cockpit, they're heroes as far as I'm concerned. They are heroes for what they did, and they saved lives.